Buckle up, bitches. Big Sills. Football Friday. How you doing, man? Oh, yeah. Reality is here. Rent's due. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rent is due. Rent is due. What a game on Sunday, man. What a huge game on Sunday. And I say this to you with due respect. And as I thought about it even more, I'll say it one more time to you. Just so we're being fair here. You can't win. Rock, you can't win. Did you see my guy Dak Prescott last night? Woo! You see that he's catapulted up to number 2 favorite in the MVP voting? How'd that happen? All the things Big Sills tells you is reality. Jalen Hurts has won all these great games this month. Dak Prescott's now number 2 favorite to win the Most Valuable Player award, beating Seattle. Jalen Hurts just beat the Bills and the Chiefs. How is he not the runaway player of the month in the NFC and the runaway MVP? Anyone else is a runaway MVP. They hate you, Philly. I here now bow to that, and I agree. They hate you, the national media. Prescott's going to win the MVP award. It's going to be one of the most hotly contested MVPs, and it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be. Look at Chuck. We don't care. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know why you care? If that guy puts his ass on the line, that guy plays his ass off. That guy plays his ass off, and I'm talking Jalen Hurts, injured. That guy goes out on a daily basis and goes out and represents your city and your team. You bet you care, and you bet you want him to have the MVP. Don't lie. Say it. You want him to have the MVP because people are trying to deny it. Say it. Hey, Keon goes, no, I don't give a shit if he wins it or not. That's your guy. He's the Bryce Harper of the NFL for you. What, you didn't care if Bryce Harper won? The Lombardi Trophy and the Most Valuable Player Trophy have nothing to do with one another. The Lombardi Trophy is a postseason award, and it's a team award. The MVP is a signature award for the best player in the game. Okay. Look at how you compromise yourselves and don't want the best. You should want it all, like Tony Montana says. The world is mine. You should want everything in it and everything that's afforded to you. Well, I don't care about that. I don't care. I do. You don't want everything? If you don't want everything, that means you don't want anything. Only want the Lombardi. Duh. Duh. Look at Dak, 29 of 41, 299, 3 touchdowns, 23 rushing. Holy cow, man. CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys are waiting for you. They are waiting for you. You ain't winning that game either. I just don't believe it. I just don't. I heard the radio shows calling. Do you guys think that Brock Purdy, before I get into what happens in this game, let me ask you this. You guys think Brock Purdy is the weak link to the 49ers on Sunday? You think he's the weak link? I want to show you how pathetic most of you are in here. Okay? And comments that have been made about Brock Purdy. Wrong 3 weeks in a row. I picked the Bills. I mean, I didn't pick the Bills. I picked the Eagles to beat the Bills. I thought you'd blow them out. No. I picked you to beat the Bills. How many people look at Brock Purdy as being the weak link? Bruce goes, Brock Purdy's better than Joe Montana. Let's look how pathetic you guys are and how you gave Jalen Hurts 17 games and you guys were calling him a superstar. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts' first 17 games as the official starter in the NFL versus Brock Purdy. Pretty much the same talent on the team. 2 great wideouts, 2 great old linemen. You have a great tight end. Pretty compatible. So you can't say one guy's got more talent than the other. Correct? Let's take a look at Purdy versus Hurts. Hurts got his first 15 starts in 21. And Brock Purdy will be starting his 17th game as an NFL player on Sunday. You guys had a massive rush to judgment on how great he was. How come you're not giving this guy the benefit? You just don't see it? Well, let's take a look at it. Purdy's 13-3 as a starter. Only played 16 games. And yet you guys think this guy sucks. But when we're talking about your guy with 17 starts, this guy's unbelievable. He's a god. He's the next Philly. Brock Purdy, I just don't see it. Well, let's take a look at that. In 16 games as an NFL starter, Brock Purdy is 69% completion percentage. In 15 starts, Jalen was 61%. In 16 games versus Hurts' 2021 start, Brock Purdy's thrown for 42-45. Imagine that. In almost a full season, Brock Purdy's thrown for 42-25. And what is, in theory, his first year starting. Hurts 31-44. Not even close. He's doubled them in touchdowns, 32-16. One more interception, 10-9. Rating, 110.5 to 87.2. Why did you rush to Jalen Hurts and say this guy was the next coming? And yet you look at Purdy and you go like this. I don't see it. What don't you see with him, Brock Purdy, that you saw with Hurts in his first 15 starts, 16 starts? What'd you see? What intangible could you possibly have seen that made you say he's the guy? What's the intangible? Purdy's outplayed him. Pretty much same offense. Supposedly better team. That's what you guys say. What's the intangible that you're saying Purdy's the weak link when he's by far gotten out to a better start than Hurts ever did in his career? Purdy can't carry a team. I don't know. He's off to a better start than Jalen was. But yet you crown him and diminish Brock Purdy. Doza goes, you can't say clutch, he got hurt. People get hurt in games. You don't know yet. That's one thing that we're seeing. Jalen Hurts is 33-12. Just phenomenal. By the way, I'm not throwing shade on Jalen here. I'm asking you why you're throwing shade on Brock Purdy. I didn't say Purdy's better. I did not say that. I asked you the question, why are you throwing shade on Brock Purdy when, quite frankly, it's a phenomenal start to a career? Phenomenal start to an NFL career. That's one of the best starts. By the way, I look at that start. It's probably better than what you've seen down in Houston with C.J. Stroud. No, Stroud doesn't have the tools that Brock does in San Francisco. But why do you look at Brock Purdy and go, oh, that guy's not the guy? Hurts is the guy. This guy's lost 3 games in 16 starts. That's actually a better win percentage than your guy. What is the one thing you look at Brock Purdy and say, well, I don't see it in him, but I see it in Hurts? Purdy's mentally weak. 13-3. Every single passing statistic, he destroys Hurts in. Starting a career. Destroys him. What are you talking about? I'm going by a player's production here. He's not the guy. Where do you see that? Brock Purdy's not the missing link in this thing and the weakest link in this whole game on Sunday. Is he young? Yes. Is he still inexperienced? Yes. But don't be confused that this guy is not going to play great on Sunday, because that's wishful thinking. Because quite frankly, he's played great to start his career, better than Joe Montana. Yes. Better than Steve Young to start a career. Yes. He can't extend plays. 13-3, and he can't extend plays. 70% completion percentage, but he can't extend plays. 29 touchdowns to 9 picks he's on pace for this year alone. And his career is 32-10. I'm just trying to get what your metric is on how you see Hurts with 16 touchdowns in his first 15 games versus 9 picks. This guy has 32 with 1 more game played and 10 picks. And you see a different metric. Interesting. Once again, that's because you want to see it. And you don't like giving people credit for the work they're doing. Again, this is not really shade on Jalen, because Jalen wasn't as good of a passer as Brock Purdy was coming out of college. He just wasn't. But he's evolved. He's absolutely evolved. That's the truth. Okay, will Purdy continue to get better? I don't know that. Hurts is. Purdy is 0-3 this year when he's trailing late. All I know is Brock Purdy's 13-3 as a starting quarterback. Heading into this game, he is having an MVP season. Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Hurts, and Brock Purdy is an MVP game on Sunday for one of those 3 men. And because of what Dak is doing, you are not a slam dunk for that award. Even if you win. Even if you win. Do I think he is? I do. And again, I want you to get this one more time. Get this. That's interesting what 5-star says. So if an 8-3 team beats you, or are they 8-3 or 9-3? I don't know. If they beat you, that 10-1 record goes out the window, right? Because then it really didn't matter. Or do you take into account what I said yesterday? You're tired. Will you take that into account? Because if the Niners beat you, your 10-1 record won't matter. Right? It won't matter. Because are you still going to call yourself the better team if they blow you out on Sunday? Okay. Again, guys, all I'm trying to do here is put Brock Purdy in perspective here. He's a good player. And he's evolving. Does Kyle Shanahan have a lot to do with the development of that quarterback? Absolutely. Did Shane Steichen have a lot to do with the development of Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. What's wrong with that? That's part of the conversation that I have with you every day. Why do you put a lesser guy in with Jalen? My opinion, Brock Purdy's got a better quarterback coach and a better quarterback evaluator and a better quarterback developer than Hurts does. That's fact. By the success he's had. You think Jalen's getting great coaching from Brian Johnson? That's kind of where I'm at, Peter. Give Brock Purdy his kudos, man. This guy's getting it. Dude, I'll tell you what. That's as good a start to a career as you'll ever see in NFL history. Brock Purdy. 40 and 16 games. 17th game will be Sunday. He's got 42-45 in passing yards and 32 touchdowns and 10 picks. And you're trying to tell me with 110 QB, not QBR, but 110 quarterback rating, you think that sucks at 70%? I'll show you quarterbacks that have been Hall of Famers that started their career out worse than this guy. It's a nice start to a career. Again, it's not shade on Jalen. Too much pressure, 49ers fold like Dallas. He's 13-3. By the way, his first year starting in the NFL, he was 1-1 in the playoffs. Your guy was 0-1. And get this, you got to give him the loss because he started the game. But he didn't get a chance to complete the game. That's a football play that knocked him out. You start the game, that's a loss for you, dog. Brock Purdy's a good football player. And if you think that guy is going to be the reason they lose the game on Sunday, you are completely wrong. Completely wrong. I'm going to give you my takeaway right now, and we're going to go with the numbers, and we're going to look at last year's NFC title game that the media gives you misinformation that you blew out the Niners. I got the numbers and all the yards and yards per carry and what happened in the game. Don't listen to some of these people who tell you that bullshit. The turnovers and all of that, that defense was the catalyst in that NFC title game. The offense did shit in that game. Okay? And to sit there and say that Lane did a great job on Bosa is not true. He had a TFL, and they held the Eagles to the lowest out. You didn't even get 270 in total offense. For a team that was playing well, they held you to your lowest output in offense. Don't make it sound like you blew them out. You didn't. The defense blew them out. Your offense was nowhere. Let's go to what I see happening in this game on Sunday. Eagles have been outgained by at least 98 yards in the last 4 straight wins. The defense has been a problem the entire season. Since the bye, the 49ers have averaged 31 points against some decent defenses, Jacksonville, Tampa, and Seattle. Having Trent Williams in the lineup is absolutely essential. He's probably the second most important player in that huddle. Hurts is just a winner. He is an absolute winner. And I say he is the only reason that football team is 10-1. He is the only reason. Only reason. The Eagles have averaged 430 yards per game allowed on defense in the last 4 weeks. Let that resonate. You have given up in the last month, every weekend, over 430 yards per game on defense. The defense has been shitty all year. And your run defense is walking backwards, because we're going to get to the numbers here. And the Birds also have Dallas on the other side of this. Will it be Brian Johnson or Nick or the Niners that will slow down the Eagle offense? I think the game is won and lost in the first half by how the Eagles prepare themselves. Are they going to, if you don't get out to a fast start, you're not only not going to win, you're going to get beat pretty good here. You can't limp out of the gate again. Will it be the coordinator? Nick? Injuries? Or all of it? I think Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator, has to start fast. You can't start the game out with 3 and outs. Can't have 3 and outs. I want to say something here that's going to be the difference in this ball game as well. What was one of the most noticeable things last year that Jalen Hurts did in that 49er game? What was the one thing? Because he didn't do very many things in that game well. But what was the one thing he did that was essential, even with the 2 quarterbacks being out, for them having a comfortable win? That's right, Martin. The RPO. Because what did it do? It froze Fred Warner. You turned Fred Warner into a slow player. And he was trailing on most of the run plays. Well, you don't run those plays any longer with the volume that you ran a year ago. Fred Warner's going to be an enormous factor this year compared to last year, because that's not in your offense anymore, really. You don't run those RPOs like that. He froze him almost every series with those RPOs. Do you remember that? That was a big factor in the run game. And one of the only things that you did well in that game offensively was run the ball. We're going to look at it here. Are they going to go back to that? Because if you go back to that, that's how I think you nullify Warner. But if you're going to drop back, you're going to get killed. That was the one thing that slowed that 49er defense down, was that RPO. Because Fred Warner is the catalyst on that defense. You know why Javon Hargrave looks better this year than he did a year ago? Because he's got a better mic. He's going to get 13 sacks this year. 14 sacks maybe. He's going to be the first team All-Pro D tackle. Him and one of the Eagle guys. Okay? Tell me I'm lying. Jalen Hurts, pretty much, it was him that held Fred Warner at bay. Okay? So are you going to put that back in your offense? I would. I thought Fred Warner struggled with. Didn't you think Fred Warner struggled with that last year? Did you not think? How about this? Let me ask you that. Do you think Fred Warner struggled with the RPO game of the Eagles last year in the NFC title game? Yes or no? And do you run it with the volume you ran it this year? No. So you're going to make Fred Warner more of a viable part of what they do on defense this year. Because you don't. I can't tell you how many times I watched Fred Warner froze last year. I kept going like this. Holy shit. Look at how many times Warner was flat-footed. And then Hurts would hand it off or take off up the field. You were like, holy cow. He turned the best Mike linebacker, him and Roquan Smith, you can flip a coin. And he turned that guy into like TJ Edwards. Not that TJ's bad, but he made him a lesser player. Are you going to put that back in? I think you have to. Because it slows the Niner D down. And remember something. I'd run right at Hargrave. He's not the greatest. Run some more RPOs and run at Hargrave. Run them RPOs at him. Okay? You do that well anyway. Why would you not make that part of your offensive game plan? James, it's not ifs. You did this last year. This is not an if. You did that to the Niners and to Fred Warner. That's not an if. That's factual. We all saw it. Has to be part of your game plan, in my opinion. Got to run more of them. Before I get to my score, let's take a look at the Niners. And then we'll look at the Eagles. 49ers, do some comparison here. Passing yards. 250.1, which ranks 8th. Eagles, 231, ranks 14th. It's not horrible. I think 231, 250, think you're in the same room. Rain, sleet, snow, Eagles are trained to go. That will definitely help. Yeah, when I look at 231, 250, rushing yards, 136, 7th for the Niners, 133, 8th for the Eagles. Pretty compatible. Points scored, both 28-2, 5th. To me, they look the same. Let's take a look at defense now. Pass yards against 49ers, 213, ranked 12th. Pass defense, 256. The 29th worst defense in pro football, pass defense, resides in Philadelphia. Rushing yards, 49ers, 82 yards a game. They surrender. That's 2nd in the National Football League. Rush defense, 85-3, that's 3rd. Actually, the Niners are better than you against the run. And with the greatness of Cam Jurgens and a banged-up Lane, this is going to be interesting to see the run game. Last 2 weeks, you've averaged 175 yards or 170 yards rushing. Points allowed. The 49ers are number 1 in the National Football League at 15-5. The Eagles allow 22 points a game. It's 20th. And you're tired. And you've played emotional games. You've played a ton of snaps. And Tone, do me a favor. When the injury report comes out, let me know who they have on it, please. I'd like to know who they have on that injury report. I got 25-22 San Francisco winning a very close football game in Philadelphia on Sunday. 25-22. That's how I see that game playing out. Yo, Sills, I truly think you're listening to the media. I'm not listening to the media. Those people don't change my opinion. I don't give a shit what they say. Dude, those media people don't cover your team like I do on a daily basis. And by the way, I'll say it one more time. Look, do I really have to quantify it for some of you to have your feelings not hurt or twisted or bent or make you cry or whatever you are with your bullshit ways that someone tells you something that's different and contrary to you? I don't give a shit. I'm telling you the way I see it. Do I think San Francisco's a better team than you? No. There, you feel better? But do I think San Francisco's in a better place, in a better shape than you going into Sunday's game? Yes. What's wrong with you? If that's not good enough, I can't help you out. You need a psychiatrist. Okay? I'm giving you how I see this game. Here you go, so you guys will feel better about yourself. Do I think that when my list comes out next week for the best teams in the National Football League, now, depending, if they blow you out, that's a different conversation. But I don't think 25-22 is a blowout. Okay? I don't think 25-22 is a blowout. So anyway, now if you lose to Dallas in consecutive weeks, then we got problems because now you're in a tiebreaker situation with Dallas. And then, get this, the worst scenario happens for Philly is you lose 2 in a row. Because if you lose 2 in a row for the first time because of all the football you've played and the amount of reps and injuries you have, we can't win. Okay? And you don't get the bye, you're not winning the Super Bowl. If you don't win home field advantage, you're not winning the Super Bowl. You need that bye more than any team in the league. You know it and I know it. Say it with me. The Eagles need that bye more than any team in the league that's a Super Bowl contender. They need it more. Right? Can we agree on that at least? No. Okay. Oh. That's because every game and every time you've gone to a Super Bowl, you haven't had home field. 80, 04, 17, 23. You've never gone to a Super Bowl in your entire franchise's career and history where you didn't have home field. Don't make things up that you haven't accomplished ever in your team's history. Oh, but we'll do it now. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. This will be different. We got 3 buys at the end of the regular season. You don't have 3 buys if you don't win these next 2 games. You won't have 3 buys. So it can't be done? No, Bill Ray, no. I said you've never done it. Have you? Here, let me do this one more time, too. In 17, you think you win the Super Bowl if you don't have home field? And this team's better. So you're assuming then that they're going to go into San Francisco or Dallas and beat them on their home field for the NFC title. Okay. Again, I'm not a fortune teller, so I don't know either. Maybe you do, but you have never. That's a fact. Me saying you can't do it, I don't know. We'll see. You didn't do it in 80, 04, 17, 23, or 22. You had home field in every one of those situations. Because we've never done it doesn't mean we can't. I know. That's all I said, too. You've never done it. Pretty scared of Hassan Reddick. I don't think you guys understand the makeup of NFL people. NFL guys aren't scared of shit. They're scared of failure. They're not scared of people. Are you I mean, most people in the real world are afraid of people. People who play in that game and in that league and in that sport, they're not afraid of dudes. They're afraid of failure. You don't even know the makeup of your own men on your own team. Those guys aren't afraid of people. You're not afraid of anything. Men don't frighten you. Failure frightens you. I've never been afraid of a person in my life. Ever. Well, my grandpa, maybe that's not being totally candid. Yeah, maybe my grandpa. Okay? Maybe my grandpa. I would probably say. Okay? The Eagles aren't going to be afraid of San Francisco on Sunday. And 49ers are not going to be. You know what this. Can I tell you what these two teams are doing? Both units are chomping at the bit to get this game going. Do you know what both teams are doing right now? They're controlling their emotions not to get out of hand on Saturday. You've got to have a built-up animosity, and you've got to keep your emotions down till Sunday at kickoff. That's what these teams are doing. They're not going, oh my God, can you believe it? The big bad Eagle fans. That's not what that is. That's nobody I've ever been around. 25-22, Niners. Take control of the NFC. How could you take control of the NFC at 9-3 when the Eagles would be 10-2? Come on. You have no control. Eagles are still in the front of the race. Again, this is a marathon. If you drop a game, the key is not dropping multiple games down the stretch. This is not really about the Niner game. This is about running through the tape first. I mean, sure, the Niner game's part of the journey here, but this is like an all-out marathon. Okay? Eagles win by 16 with that nightmarish defense that's given up in the last 4 weeks 430 yards average to a team that has Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo, and a quarterback who's playing out of his ass. You're going to hold that team under 500 yards. Josh Allen was a one-man band and put up 500 yards on you. He was a one-man band. And he put 500 yards on you. They got a collection of guys that rival yours. By the way, your O-line is, depending if Lane plays, if your O-line doesn't have Lane on it, just as good as the Niner line. Jack Driscoll and Cam Jurgens. Okay. This is a real question. Does not having to travel last week or this week migrate some of the yes. Having the game at home, complete advantage. Philly. Yes. Anthony goes, Brock Purdy's not Josh Allen. I know. He doesn't have to be. You're missing the point. There's more people to cover that you don't have. Do you know how easy it, well, it wasn't. Think about this. Do you think it's easier to play defense against Josh Allen or the Niners? Do you think it's easier to play defense versus Josh Allen or the Niners? It's easier to play defense versus the Niners. You only had to guard one guy and Allen. Here you've got to guard. Okay. Who guards Debo? Slay. Who guards Ayuk? Bradbury. Who guards McCaffrey? Morrow? He's on pace for 74 catches. Who guards Kittle? You don't have the personnel to match up. All you had to do was shut down Diggs and try to get what's his name on the ground, and you couldn't. Allen is much better than Purdy? No shit. 49ers offense is better than the Bills offense as a unit. It's not the quarterback here. It's the unit. What am I missing here? What are you missing? Are you actually really thinking that the Bills offense is better than the San Francisco 49ers offense? Do you really believe that? Sills, what are your thoughts on the Eagles D line? I'm going to get there. Okay? Look at that. The Bills offense is better. I'm even more convinced you have no shot now at winning that game. Hey, let me do this too. That game that you offensively supposedly dominated. I keep hearing people talk about how the offense dominated the Niners in that NFC title game. Defense was the superstars in that game. 31-7. 3 turnovers. You ran 80 plays and got 269 yards. They held you on 80 plays. Do you understand? Josh Allen had 95 plays and put 505 on you. You should have destroyed that team if you killed them. You ran 80 plays and had 260 on them. That's dominating? Well, they were all in short fields. No shit. Your defense was exceptional in that game. They were exceptional. You ran the ball 148. You threw the ball 121. And you got a gift from the refs in that game, in the passing game. You didn't really have to do anything. Penalties because of the quarterback. 11 for 81. 4 for 34. Eagles played that game perfectly. They knew the quarterback couldn't win. You couldn't cross the 50. He was going to turn it over. They did. Short field. That's it. But to sit there and say you rolled up all these incredible numbers on them is an absolute bull-faced lie. That's why they're angry. Now, again, here's on the flip side of that. Okay? There's no hall passes for Hassan Reddick making the play of the year. He made the play of the year for the Eagles by taking that quarterback out in the first series. And for the record, he was the MVP for all the playoff games combined. He was the best player on the Philadelphia Eagles for the divisional game, the NFC title game, and in the Super Bowl. 3 games combined for 12 quarters, he was your best player. Hurts wasn't anything in the divisional game. He was okay. NFC title game, he wasn't very good at all. Super Bowl, he was great. Reddick was great the entire playoffs. He was a weapon. That guy was a missile. Yeah, him coming off that edge like that, hitting Purdy in the shoulder like that. One of the greatest hits in a big moment for a guy who has big moments all the time. Like I told you before, I'm starting to call him the exclamation point. Okay? Reddick was insane. He was insane. Okay? He was insane. He's going to have to be insane come Sunday. If you don't get pressure like you have not this year on Brock Purdy, it will be 28-10. You can't allow somebody, which you have for a month, and your slow starts. You really think you're going to be doing this against San Francisco and playing slow starts and playing 30 minutes of football? You think 30 minutes of football is going to be enough to beat them? We'll agree to disagree. Because that's really all you've played. You have not put together one game this year, and we're heading into the back end of the schedule, which means you're not going to be anything more than you are now. You know, it's funny. I hear people going, we haven't played our best ball. Yes, you have. We're going into week 13. How many more weeks do you need of an excuse before you start to go, this is kind of who we are? Philly defense has been terrible all year. It was great against the run early. It's fading now. Why? Fatigue, injuries, lack of personnel. So let me ask you this. Let's be fair here for Sunday. By the way, I want to underline one thing. I still think you're a better team than them, but you can't accept this analysis for Sunday. That's fine. I know it's hard. Do you think Fletcher Cox not being out there on Sunday is a factor or not? Yes or no? Watch this one. Do you think Fletcher Cox and Zach Cunningham not being in that huddle Sunday, do you think that's a factor? Of course, I don't know about Milton. That's why I'm waiting to see the injury report. Okay, because they need that guy. Because who's the other? Then you go with that other dude, right? Okay, if you only have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and one of those guys gets nicked up, because, and get this, the amount of reps they've taken. You know what they're going to, here's what I would do. If I was San Francisco, I would clearly try to establish the run. And I would try to run as many plays at Jordan Davis, even if I got no yards. And Jalen Carter, make those guys active. Move them around. Let's see if they're going to be there in the fourth quarter. They've just played 75-95. Okay? You theoretically played 3 games in a 2-game span. Most teams average 60 plays a game defensively. Let's see, what did San Francisco run? Shit, man. 49ers said we're held to 45 plays because of the lack of offense in that NFC title game. You give them 65, 75 plays, dude, I won't want to give the 49er offense 95 plays against your defense, who just got off the field playing 95 plays. You think that's conducive or not? Okay? I can't believe that this is my opinion here. Not trolling nothing. Wow. Some of you folks, man. I mean, your fandom is really crazy. I'm not speaking anything that's not true. I'm saying you're going into I'm not going to quantify it to make you feel better. Whether you like it or not, I don't give a shit if there's 4 people watching me. I could care less. This is my opinion on Sunday's game. You don't like it? That's a you thing, dude. That's a you thing. Trolling? No, my best bet would be here to be a freaking cheerleader like the dudes at IP. Hey, man, we know our heart and guts and glory are going to get us through, even though we have a laundry list of guys on the IR, and we just played a mountain of reps and massive football, and everybody is nicked up. Even Michael Irvin said the same thing. He watched the show yesterday. He's like, these guys don't get it, man. These guys have been playing some serious reps. Michael Irvin's even like, man. Michael said, Michael picked the Niners to win. And you know why? He said, I have never, in all the years that I've been an analyst, he said, I've never had a harder time picking the game because of Jalen Hurts. He says, but I can't believe if they do it, it'll be incredible. I'm obsessed with IP? No. That's the best radio station in town. Because it's where the fans go, not the host. Hosts suck. Not Rob. Rob's great. I listen to Rob. He's great. I like John Ritchie, actually, too. And Hugh. So I shouldn't say that. I apologize. That's not true. Okay? It's not true. Okay? The fans are awesome on it. That's why I listen. Okay? So I shouldn't say that. I apologize. Because that's the fan station. Put respect on Allen and Mahomes can run. Purdy can't. He doesn't have to. Allen and Mahomes have nothing. They have to carry their team. Purdy has a team like Hurts. The dimension that Hurts offers that Purdy can't is the dual threat that they've taken away. And the inconsistency in play calling. And Hurts wins in spite of that. That's my observation of your offense in 2023 compared to 2022. You don't run as many volume RPOs. It's chaotic at times in the first half. Brian Johnson looks like he gets a better handle on the offense in the second half. People are out of the way. It could be that. I don't know. Sure looks like the 2-5 Nick Sirianni in the first half at times with some of them stupid-ass play calls. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. It's just not been consistent. You can't play 60 minutes of football when your coordinator is not giving you 60 minutes worth of a game plan. How could you think that? Okay? LJ says every week is gloom and doom. No. Once again, you're right here. Gloom and doom? I just got through telling you what you guys did against Kansas City and Buffalo was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. And winning that game against Buffalo, I guess out of sight, out of mind, huh, LJ? I gave you all the kudos. That takes a toll on a team. This is not beating Kansas State or Kansas or Wake Forest or people. You're playing in the NFL here. I don't believe it. Maybe it's more that. I do not believe it. And by the way, you want to Your 10-1 record, you could be a wild card by next Sunday. Is that a possibility? Is that truth? Well, that's not happening. Could it happen? Because the games haven't been played yet. You lose those 2 games, you're in a wild card race. Right? Hey, this has to be a gigantic game for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They have not been very good the last 2 weeks against football teams that don't run the ball. And you are playing exceptional quarterbacks that can move. You're not going to have that. Do I think they played better? I do. Do I think San Francisco is going to run the ball like they have all year on them? I don't know that yet. Because the problem is that they have so many weapons to loosen up the run game. The key to the run game for San Francisco will be Kittle. You don't have a person that can cover. Hey, you know what's crazy? You guys are sitting here talking to me about like how you think your defense is gangrene. You're the worst unit in the league. And you do one thing well. Stop the run. And in the last 2 weeks, you haven't. So that means you do nothing well in the last couple weeks. You said the Birds been vulnerable against the run the last 2 weeks. Why is that? Because you've given up 170 yards a game. Anything else? Is San Francisco undefeated? Has nothing to do with winning a Super Bowl. Nothing. Won't matter. If you lose, won't matter. Your 10-1 record goes out the window and you can't use it because then you got beat. We can also clinch number 1 by next Sunday as well. Okay, Arthur. I didn't realize that. So you could clinch the number 1 if you win these next 2 weeks? Cool. So get this. You could be a wild card or number 1. Both are true. Yes. Yes. Both are true. Both are true. Thank you. Thank you, Arthur. Yes. Won't answer what question, Philly? I'll answer any question you ask me. What question you want? Slay and Bradbury can lock. No, they can't. They haven't locked anybody up. Slay's not been as bad. Bradbury had a nice pick last week. How can you say somebody's been playing, can lock somebody up when you come into this game, the 29th ranked pass defense? You're locking what up? Where have you been? What exactly are you talking about, locking people up? You haven't locked anyone up all year. San Francisco has played no top 10 offenses yet. We played 6 of them and won each of them. You could gobble San Francisco all you want. Don't act like our team is. I never said that. I said you're the best team in the league. This is where you lose the argument, LJ. I never said you weren't the best team in the league. I never said you weren't. You're not winning Sunday. This is weekly matchups. That's what this league is. This is a week-to-week league. You can clinch a number 1 seed next week. You can also be a wild card. Let's put that in perspective. Okay? Let's put that into proper perspective. Yes, both are true. Eagles win by 11. Don't act like we're not them. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Close, we win. Niners win by blowout only. Okay. He wants to make it where no matter what the outcome, Sunday, he's going to move the. I told you on Monday that your record has whoever is playing. I'm not quantifying. That's for you guys to figure out because you don't like what you hear. That's a you thing. Now I know what Elon Musk talks about. God, I love that guy. You could tell Disney to go F themselves. Oh, man, what a goat. That's when you know you got FU money, though. Man, I love that guy. By the way, he follows me on Twitter, which is insane. Sills is mad. There's nothing I've talked about that makes me mad here. Things about my family make me mad. Not anything in sports talk. We've played teams as good as San Francisco. They haven't played a team as good as ours. Yeah, you have. They beat the piss out of the Dallas Cowboys. You hung on. You hung on to the Cowboys. They got destroyed by 30. You think you're going to go into Arlington and beat the Cowboys by 30? I don't. I think the Cowboys may win that game, actually. Okay? Can't get rid of them. Very true. Hey, very true. Okay? Now the Cowboys are as good as us. Who said that? I said they played you. They played you good. They played you tough. By the way, the national media gave Prescott more kudos for his performance in that game than they gave Hurts. After the Seattle win, your guy has no shot to win the MVP award. Zero. Jalen Hurts will not win the award. Tired of wrong being. I picked you to beat the Bills. I don't know. You would have thought the Cowboys. Hey, after that game, he's now the second favorite to win the MVP over Mahomes. Oh, my God. Woo! This going to be a big game. I cannot wait. Guts, Glory, Newt Rockney. Who's the actor from Silver Linings Playbook? Who's that guy? He's got Bradley Cooper's got to show up, man. You got to get the Lucky Charm in there, right? You got to get his ass in there. You got to get them all. Rocky. You're going to need it. Yeah. Yes, sir, boys. I hate to be the one to tell you. 25-22. San Francisco 49ers win. Mike Trout's yeah, he is. Shanahan isn't a comeback coach. We have the coaching advantage. No, you don't. You have the coaching advantage on your offensive coaching staff. Yeah, you must be watching a different game plan than I am. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, man. It may be, I don't know. I think Desai's a good D coordinator. I do. I think he's a good D coordinator. Okay, but he's not Steve Wilkes. But he's a good D coordinator. He's doing a lot with a lot of pieces that don't fit and don't work, quite frankly. Okay? Let me put it to you this way. Let me say this to you. Let's see who could start on that Niner team that plays in your secondary. Do I think Bradbury and Slade could start? Probably. Okay, because with better people, they could probably start because they'd have better people in front of them like they did a year ago. You ain't got a safety on that team that would start in San Francisco. You ain't got a linebacker on that team that would start in San Francisco. Your two tackles would start. Brandon Graham wouldn't start on the Niners. Sweat would start on the other side. I think he would start over Chase. 2 tackles. That's about it. Yes, sir. Sorry to be the one. See, most people are afraid to go with their true feelings. By the way, my good friend Tone here, putting out on this Football Friday, you get your chance to win yourself some gift certificates. Code word's going to be thrown out the entire 4 hours. Don't forget the greatness of Philly Godfather at 5:30. Woo! How about them Cowboys last night, man? We'll see who he picks on Sunday. I can't wait to hear this thing. Okay, so we will do that. That'll be at 5:30. Tone, the segment, which is killing it, will be with us at 3:30. Don't forget also, you guys get an opportunity to go over and see our great friends at Hooters, northeasthooters.com. Absolutely some great, great holiday specials that we are going to have through the month of December here. We're so looking forward to it. The Hooters calendars are out 2024. All the great specials, seafood Sundays, half price, snow crabs, steamers, buffalo shrimp, military Mondays, 20% off all day. Lunch specials, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3. Boneless wings. Kids eat for free on Saturday. Wing Wednesdays, man. 1983, the year the place was founded. That is northeasthooters.com. northeasthooters.com. How can the Eagles win this game versus the Niners? I don't think you have a shot in hell. But there is a chance if you do this. I'll tell you what this is next. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.